So, hello guys, and welcome to the second ever Sathos Restores video. As the first one seems to have gained me some new subscribers and a little bit of interest, I thought I'd continue this series. As I'm currently doing a work in progress that's going to require multiple videos, and I'll go into more of that in a bit, I thought I would take the time to show you some of my recent purchases and where I'm going with those, what I've done with those, and just sort of give an update as to where this channel is starting from. Before we get into that, I just want to introduce you to the reason you might see some cardboard mess and stuff on my sitting room floor. Here's Resto Dog, my little cockapoo called Zuko. He's currently 13 weeks old. So anyway, let's get into this, and let's start with the first purchases that really sort of kicked off this whole new hobby of restoring things. And it began with a trip to a local shop that deals in sort of antiques and old tools and things, and you can get absolute bargains in there as long as you're willing to work on the tools. And in this case, I got myself a Shelly larger girder style wrench, and this was in fairly sort of rough shape. It was moving, but totally covered in surface rust and stuff. Since then, I have taken this down to sort of an average level of polish and used some, what is it, Birchwood Perma Blue on this, using their bluing kit, and oiled it, and it's come up pretty nice. I'm only after a functional finish on this. The main idea behind my channel is sort of to go for tools that I'm going to use, unless I'm sort of given stuff or get some particular bargains in like boot fair sales and so on. But yeah, so I'm going for tools that my toolbox really needs, and these are far more solid and capable than the equivalent wrench that I could get for the same sort of price, which I believe this cost me £4. There is no way you would get that much high quality steel in a £4 cheapo wrench that's going to be half plastic, and the metal will be so low quality it'll snap the first time you use it. In a similar vein, here is a small one. I believe this is a 4-inch sized Richards of Sheffield wrench, marked, now that I've polished it, I can see that it's marked 1944. This one has had basically the same treatment. I polished this one to a higher standard than that. I've since blued and oiled it. I'm sort of playing around with seeing what it takes to get to a finish that I'm happy with, and maybe even sort of how far I can take it with the current tools I have, in terms of getting out some of the pitting and so on. And these both work very, very well. I mean, you see that almost spins on its own. And then along with that, I do some work with MDF and plywood sort of terrain pieces for tabletop war games. So I needed some snippers that weren't going to break my sort of high quality side cutters. And again, another pair, probably from the 40s. These are unmarked, but these were gunked shut and rusted, and there's a little bit of surface rust reappearing on these, so clearly I didn't oil them well enough. I am waiting for some beeswax to arrive, but these are plenty high quality enough for the work that I want to do with them, and they are lovely now that they've been finished up. So those I'm essentially calling done, apart from maybe a bit of an oiling or a bit of a waxing. Now, next up, I ordered a blowtorch, because for some of the work I'm doing I need heat. I'm going to need heat straighten tools, and also to work on that I bought myself this multi-tool. So for the moment, let's put the blowtorch back. And this, in some circles, is called a gentleman's multi-tool, and essentially it's a small pocket tool and corkscrew that would have been carried around by a gentleman in the 40s in their pocket for opening wine bottles and any small screws they need to undo. This just slots into there. That goes over the top. And then for what I want to do, given that all of these old tools are going to be a flat-bladed screwdriver, I now have a small, easy to hold because I have hand difficulties, flat-bladed screwdriver that is era appropriate and kind of cool and kitschy and fun to use. It also has a sort of auger point on it. Not auger, what are they called? Brad point on it, that I can use for scraping things. That can be used for starting screw holes in wood, that sort of thing. And the corkscrew can of course be used to open the occasional bottle when the kids get to me. But this would have originally been nickel plated, so it would have looked quite silver. When I got it, the nickel plating was very rough on it and it was quite battered, so I've taken it down to the original brass and given it a good polishing. And every time I get some new polishing tools, I give it an extra buff to see just how close to a mirror shine I can get. And at the moment, we're pretty much there with a mirror shine. But yeah, so I got that for working on this. Now, this is a pretty rough and beaten 1-point blade-on, British-made, in Birmingham, Blowtorch. I'm waiting for some seals to arrive for this one. And this is the one that I'm currently doing a multi-part video series on, the full restoration of. You can see I've currently got the pump in several pieces here. It's missing the leather cap. This has taken a bunch of work to get off. That's a little nut there that holds the leather washer on. And I'm waiting for a leather washer to arrive. Gave that a quick polish just to see what the polishing compound I'm using is capable of, and that's come up quite nice for a first time manual hand polish. But yeah, so I'm doing a multi-part video on this. I've already done a video on the teardown. That was the first video on this channel. And essentially what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing small step videos of what I'm doing in terms of working on it, and then I'm going to put them together to make one larger video. So you won't see this for a little while. Now that leads me on to something that I was given by a friend, which is this larger Optimus Swedish-made blowtorch. Now this one is in good enough condition and I have tested it. It works, but it is missing a couple of seals, and so what I've ordered is a larger seal and washer pack that will fit both of these, or should fit both of these, and get both of them operational again. This one, as I will show you, does have its original leather cup washer in, and it's in pretty rough condition, so that needs replacing, but it does currently function. The only thing is it's missing its main gasket, which means that it cannot hold a flame. It just keeps on puttering out and squirting the alcohol that I'm using as a fuel in this. But having this one to play around with off camera means that I can find out exactly what I need or want to do with this one on camera. And so you can see here I've been polishing. That's sort of the dull side. That's a bit of fine wire wool that I've used. And then here is just a paper towel and using the polishing compound I'm using. So I figure let's move on to that next, shall we? The absolute darling of my little kit here at the moment. Autosol metal polish. I am not sponsored by them. This is not a brand integration. This is one I remember as a childhood. My dad always had this in his little cellar workshop, and I used it to polish some of the chrome parts on his motorbike, so the smell is super familiar. But this, on a little bit of kitchen towel, achieves this level of polish. Or, this was as grubby as that. And that's just, a few minutes work, a little bit of elbow grease, kitchen towel and metal polish. So, that's without using a buffing wheel or any machinery. You're getting this level of finish using this stuff. It's going to change how much easier these little renovations and things are going to be for me. It's not a magical wonder, but it will help. Other stuff that I'm using is this rust remover gel from Hammerite. Essentially what it does is it stops rust from getting worse and converts it into a paintable surface. Now it's not going to get a lot of use. I bought this more for my mobility scooter to stop some of the rust on that so that I could paint over it and prevent it rusting further. but this is getting a little bit of use on some of the most rusted parts. I will then clean them up and use the blue and rust remover in this Birchwood Casey kit. And this is how I've been bluing these other items as well. So, you use the blue and rust remover, then the cleaner degreaser, and then the perma blue, and you get a finish like that. Beyond that, good old penetrant fluid, WD-40, and I am waiting for some beeswax to arrive in the post. I may also pick up some paste wax. Thank you, 357 Magdad. For constantly recommending that on your channel. I'm likely to pick up some good old paste wax. And one other thing, recently my wife picked me up this lovely Parkside rotary tool accessory set. Now if you're in America, I'm sure Harbour Freight will do something similar. This at the moment is on sale in Lidl, Lidl, which is a European supermarket chain. That occasionally sort of week to week has different totally non-food related items. They might have tools or a baby week going on or things like that. And in this case, it's this lovely rotary tool accessory set, which has a crazy amount of accessories in it. And in this case, a lot of them are aimed at polishing, which naturally, for what I'm doing, my wife figured would be very helpful, and she's absolutely right. This is going to be a very useful kit to have. I've already been putting it to good use, and I look forward to using it even more. Anyway, I think I have waffled on long enough in this video. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Sathos Restores. Sathos out.